And welcome back to the journey to the FarLands. Let's see here. I've got a couple of beds. I've got a boat. I've got my workbench, and so on. So let's just go ahead and break out of here. Look, see if we have any unpleasant neighbors. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Go ahead and block the doorway and get on the way. Let's see. Looks to me like this would be a good way to go. Go over some of this ice. Save a boat. All right. Well, starting off, we have the report on the world size, currently at 151 megabytes according to Windows, and according to Minecraft, it is reporting 149.66. And let's see, Hearts on Fire suggested he asked about the world size, if I was looking about the size or the size on disk that Windows Properties reports for the size of directory or file. And in this case, as you can see by the current little screenshot there, that both are reporting the same megabyte number, although if you look at the actual byte count, then you see that the one is a little bit bigger than the other in terms of how much space is actually used on disk and so on and so forth. It gives me the idea that perhaps Windows is rounding the size to the nearest megabyte or something like that. I don't know. I didn't actually bother to do any math to check that, but it's just a theory. So I don't know. Honestly, so far it has been reporting, I look at the number that says how many megabytes, and it's reporting it the same for size and size on disk. So even though the actual number of bytes is considerably different. Well, let's see, it looks like it's boat time. Yeah, let's go ahead and just get it done, if I can catch up with it. All right, let's see. I can also announce that there is new Kerbal Space Program video up yesterday on the Self1 channel, and I have another one that will be uploading later today that will be a significant part of a story arc that started in episode 3, and it's not the end of stories at all by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not going to do any kind of, I'm going to try not to do a spoiler. I will say that it does conclude part of a story arc. Episode 22 does, which I'll be uploading later on. And but there are more story arcs, some of which have not been revealed yet, and at least one or two others have been hinted at in prior episodes. So there is that as well. See, that's the thing about Kerbal Space Program. It's, in my opinion, it's more than just build the rocket, fly the rocket, blow the rocket up, or stuff like that. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, and it's a lot of fun, but frankly, I'm enjoying the story that's going along with all of this, because I think that's at least as much of what I'm doing as the build the rocket, fly the rocket, blow it up. So keep a watch out for that, and I think we'll have some interesting times, because the story gives, it's a lot more of a reason to do things than just, oh, I want to do this. The story gives you some reason, some investment in what's going on, and so on. And so I'm going to keep going with that. And I just let it develop as it happens. I don't really have anything major planned out. The only planning I have is like the very high points of some things. And even that, even a lot of that is open to reinterpretation as the circumstances warrant. So that's what's going on with Kerbal Space Program. I have to say I've had a lot of fun doing what I've put together, and learned a fair amount about how to get some things done in KSP, because some of these tasks can be rather difficult to do. Even allowing for the fact that Kerbal Space Program is not exactly realistic in terms of its physics and whatnot, they do have, it does have rules, and in order for anything to work, you have to operate according to those rules, and there are times when that can be difficult. Just getting a ship into a stable circular orbit can be a challenge sometimes, especially if you're lifting a heavy payload. But anyway, enough about Kerbal Space Program for now. Like I said, just keep an eye out. There's more coming in the future. And let's see, in the meantime, let me get out here on the ice. Looks like going this way is going to be a little better. Let's see. In Minecraft-ish kind of news, recently the FTB mod pack was released, and there's been a lot of people doing a lot of stuff with it, and I'm kind of wanting to myself. I'm working on an idea or three. I haven't quite exactly worked out what I'm going to be doing with it, and so I'm not going to rush right into it. I figure I don't really have to rush into it anyway, because the thing that's been released right now is actually still in beta. It's not quite complete. There are some more things that will be added to it that are not in it yet, and so I'm really looking forward to some of those things to be added, because I think they're going to add an awful lot to it. And so I am definitely looking forward to that full release of it. I've been playing around with it a little bit in single player, just kind of feeling it out, learning the ropes, and seeing what the changes are in some of these mods from the last time I had a modded version of Minecraft in use. And some of them are interesting, some of them are a little irritating, but I think overall the effect is going to be very good. Let's see. Okay, let's just not bother with a boat here. As a matter of fact, how far are we from the bottom? As we have sunset happening, so let's just Make a resting spot right here in the middle of this lake. How about that? All right. Oh, don't tell me that. Really, come on. One more light level. There we go. Anyway, moving onward. Speaking of modded Minecraft and whatnot, I'm sure some will remember my TFC modcraft series that I did some time ago, and that I did eventually end that first season. And then I was planning to, and I did a lot of work preparing for a second season with that, and I got delayed for some reasons and distracted by other reasons, and so on. And it took a long time before I ever actually got the first episode of the second season out, and then more distractions and delays and difficulties and whatnots came along, and I found myself not doing the second season after the first episode. And I've given that some thought. You know, it's been brought back to my mind by this whole FTB mod pack thing. And so I've decided that I am going to go ahead with the TFC Modcraft Season 2. And yes, it will be in Minecraft 1.2.5 because that's what that thing was built with. I spent the better part of, I think it was 2 weeks or more building that particular jar. And whereas with Season 1, I think I rebuilt the jar 14 times or more. With Season 2, I spent at least the better part of 2 weeks assembling that jar, and I lost track of how many times I built it. At least if I've mentioned it before, I've since forgotten. Sand wall, anybody? Floating sand cliff? Cool. And so I was thinking about it, and I decided that since I did, in fact, do all the work of putting that thing together, that it would be kind of a shame to just let it sit there and waste away unused just simply because it's not using a current version of Minecraft and that it is using older versions of the mods in question. So since I've got it and it works, I'm going to go ahead and use it. And I don't know, I think it could still be a good series, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm probably going to start recording that later today and working on that. I have to say, by the way, that I want to clarify that the TFC Modcraft Season 2 is obviously, of course, it's not FTB, nor is it Tekkit or Technic. This is me having done the work, the legwork and so on of hunting down all of the individual mods and installing each one at a time, and having a lot of fun, sort of, kind of not, in figuring out what order to install everything in order to have everything work, and rebuilding the jar many times to finally get the thing working. And so it's entirely custom. There's about I think 38 mods involved, and in that second episode I'll give a rundown of what all the mods are, and so on. Oh, that was close. Almost collided with that little mini island. Anyway, so here we go. Making good time on the second day with this large body of water. Other Minecraft type news is that in spite of the fact that everyone expected 1.4.4 to become the official release version, it has not. Then they have released a 1.4.5 pre-release. Apparently it was because there was a bug in the LAN connection options for 1.4.4, and so they had to do another release to fix that. And that unless, of course, something major crops up between now and then, I believe it's sometime next week, middle of next week-ish, that they're going to be making that one the official release. We'll see. Okay. Take a minute and let the world generate a little bit, see if I can save myself the trouble of making another boat. Well, let's see. No, doesn't look like it. Not a problem. Collect up the workbench. And head on. And I get 10 blocks out, and look at what generates in front of me. All right, we'll see if we can go around it. It doesn't look like it. Oh, well, that's fine. We'll just run up here and do this. Let's see what else is going on in the world. That's unfortunate. The only thing I can think of that's going on is things that are political in nature, and I've had so much of my fill of things political in nature that I really don't want to talk about anything political. It's just, I've had so much of a fill of it. So many automated phone calls from this or that political organization trying to talk me into voting for their guy, and things like that. Taking surveys, and it's really interesting because most of those so-called surveys are actually basically trying to talk you into, or make it sound like you are saying that you're in favor of their guy, when nothing could be further from the truth. Anyway, enough politics. My stomach is turning. Let's see. Well, we've got KSP story continuing. We've got FTB developing. A lot of people are doing a lot of really cool stuff with it. A lot of people that haven't done much, at least not in videos, that haven't done much with mods before, and they're getting into it, and they're learning some of these things for the first time, and it's kind of interesting, especially when from my point of view at least, I've had at least a little bit of experience with some of these things, and it's kind of almost nostalgic watching others get into it for the first time and puzzle their way through things. And, you know, what does this crazy looking thing do? What does that mod do? And how do you do this? And so on. It in a way, it kind of takes you back to your first days in Minecraft. where you're walking around and say, okay, I've got this, what do I do with it? You know, that thing tried to kill me, how do I fix that? And so on. And what is that obscene looking thing that just blew up in my face? And so on. And I've been really enjoying watching some of those videos, really. It's, like I said, been kind of nostalgic. And it's also, okay, this is a good place to park, I guess. It's also done a lot to kind of whet my appetite, get me that much more interested in doing something with it. I'm still debating whether I want to wait for the full release or not, and how I want to go about things, and what kind of things I might want to do with it once I get started, and so on. There. Okay, pop down a bed. Get a couple of more made. Okay, a couple of boats. There we go, we're ready to go here. Excess junk dropped. Let's get the workbench back and drop a little more excess junk. Let's see, okay, there we go, we don't need that. There. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this episode. Be sure to stop by tinfoilchef.com/donate and donate to Child's Play Charity. We're aiming for a goal of $6,345, and we're at last count approximately a little over, about 2/3 of 1% of the way. So we have a long way to go, both in the terms of the goal and in terms of the journey to the FarLands. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.